Before we jump into today's video, guys, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a few people who has commented on the last couple of videos. The channel Song commented, "Good channel, I hope you make it big one day, stay safe, XD," which is one of those faces, I guess you could say. But I really appreciate that song. Liam posted, "The best. It was quite interesting. Let's be YouTube partners." Crystal commented, "Loved it." Now, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys because the days that you commented these, this was very bad days for me. I was having an awful day, and y'all commented this, and it made me completely turn around and feel good. So I appreciate that, you guys. Be sure to keep leaving comments. I hope you guys have a great day, and let's get on to the video and show that kindness to someone else that you know in real life. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Next Level Sports. Now, a few weeks ago, I made a video for my top 50 big board for the 2021 NFL Draft. And I was just absolutely disgusted at how that video turned out. For one, there was players that I didn't really like the slots that I had on me, and after I went back and watched more tape. And for two, I feel like I could have done a better job editing, so I left that video up, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and make a new, updated, and improved top 50 big board for the 2021 NFL Draft. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Not much has changed in the top 10. Trevor Lawrence at 1, Penei Sewell at 2, Jamar Chase at 3, Micah Parsons at 4, Patrick Surtain at 5, Trey Lance at 6, Kenneth Gainwell at 7, Marvin Wilson at 8, Javon Holland at 9, and Justin Fields at 10. But let's go ahead and point out the elephant in the room here, Justin Fields being at 10. There's a lot of you guys who thinks that I hate Justin Fields. I do not hate Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields, but I don't see him on that same level as Trevor Lawrence. Some of you thinks he's better than Trevor Lawrence, and I might make a video in the future as to why I feel the way I feel about Trevor Lawrence being better, and as to why I feel Trey Lance is better than Justin Fields. But the biggest thing is the type of offense that he's coming from to go to the NFL. It just doesn't really translate to the NFL. If you look back in the past, you got guys like Tim Tebow, Marcus Mariota, and the last Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. Whenever they get to the NFL coming from that type of spread offense, they always seem to struggle. But I like Justin Fields' arm. He's got a good body type. He's got a strong arm. He's careful with the football, and he's mobile as well. But it's just really that offense that he is in that is holding him back. Because when you get to the NFL, they don't really develop you after that. The offense that he's in at Ohio State, it's more of a rhythm pass. You know, snap the ball, boom, I'm throwing it to this guy. Snap the ball, boom, I'm throwing it to that guy. In the NFL, they don't really teach you how to, read defenses. They teach you more, here's our system, here's our playbook, you learn this, now you go out there and play. All the basic stuff, you're supposed to already know that before you get there. Moving on, 11 through 20. Tyler Shelvin, defensive tackle, LSU. Gregor Russo, edge rusher, Miami. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota. Shaun Wade, cornerback, Ohio State. Trey Smith, interior offensive lineman, Tennessee. Chuba Hubbard, running back, Oklahoma State. And I have Justin Ross here at 17. This was before the injury. I probably should have went ahead and taken him off the list, because if he does enter the 2021 NFL Draft, he's probably going to fall to the late second round. It's just a guess. But more than likely, I feel like he's going to return to Clemson for the 2021 college football season. 18, Jamie Newman, quarterback, Georgia. 19, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama. And 20, Israel Lucuma, cornerback, South Carolina. Excuse me there, I'm sorry about that. Tyler Shelvin wasn't even on the last big board. It was before that I had a chance to actually watch Tyler Shelvin. I knew LSU from last season had a defensive line full of huge men, 300-pound plus. I think they had like 5 defensive linemen over 300 pounds. I knew Tyler Shelvin was over 300 pounds, but I didn't realize exactly how big he was. This man is 346 pounds, and he is solid. You put him in the interior of a defense, and he's just not going to be moved. He's going to demand double teams. And the reason he wasn't in the last big board is because I didn't have a chance to watch him yet. Before I did that big board, I probably watched anywhere from 60 to 70 players. And the original plan was I was just going to make my top 20, 25 big board. But I get to those, and I'm like, man, this guy's too good not to include. This guy's too good not to include. So then I expanded to 50, and that's just how that worked out. Gregor Russo, I'm a little bit lower on him than a lot of other people you're going to see. That's because he's very raw. I see the upside, I see the athleticism, I see the length, but he is very raw. I think he's going to need to add power for the NFL, and he's going to need to improve his technique just a little bit. Rashad Bateman, I like his length and I like his speed. That's going to translate very well into the NFL. Trey Smith, if it wasn't for his health conditions, if you've been around the channel, you might have seen that before, but if it wasn't for his health conditions, then he would probably be much higher on this list. Chuba Hubbard, my second running back in this big board. I really like his low center of gravity. I like his elusiveness and his power, and he also has track speed at the top end as well. 21 through 30, Dylan Moses, linebacker, Alabama. Walker Little, offensive tackle, Stanford. 23, Travis Etienne, running back, Clemson. 24, Devonta Smith, wide receiver, Alabama. 25, Pat Freiermuth, tight end, Penn State. 26, Creed Humphreys, center, Oklahoma. 27, Paulson Adebo, cornerback, Stanford. 28, Hassam Nazarildeen, safety, Florida State. 29, Watt Davis, offensive guard, Ohio State. 30, Jalen Twyman, defensive tackle, Pittsburgh. Now, a lot of you will probably be surprised that Travis Etienne is my third running back on this big board because most people have him much higher on their big boards. But to me, I like his speed. I hope to see him to continue to improve as a receiving back over this 2020 college football season at Clemson, because that's something he's really going to work on. And with Justin Ross out of the lineup, that's going to give him an even bigger shot to display his receiving skills. Dylan Moses and Walker Little are both guys who sustained serious injuries last season. They will be much higher on this list if they can come back and achieve that level of play before the injury occurred. Pat Freiermuth, just a very well-rounded tight end. There's a few passes that he should catch that he drops, and I think that's because he's more so thinking about the run after the catch, but he is a size mismatch like most tight ends are. A very great blocker, too. That's why he's so high up on this list, because I love his blocking. He gets his hands on the inside, and he really works his feet as well. Watt Davis, I really like the way he moves in the interior of the offensive line. He has great movement skills, and that's going to translate over to the NFL very well also. Jalen Twyman could be the most athletic defensive tackle in this draft class. I like his size, I like his power, I like his explosiveness off the line. There's a few small things that he could clean up, but overall, I really like Jalen Twyman. He could be one of my draft crushes because he has the upside to be the best, to possibly be the best defensive tackle coming out of this class. I wouldn't say he's there yet, but he's definitely got that kind of upside. 31 through 40, Najee Harris, running back, Alabama. Tommy Cramer, offensive guard, Notre Dame. Joe Tryon, edge rusher, Washington. Tylan Wallace, wide receiver, Oklahoma State. Deonte Brown, offensive guard, Alabama. Rondell Moore, wide receiver, Purdue. Kalen Hill, running back, Mississippi State. Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. Carlos Basham, edge rusher, Wake Forest. Kyle Pitts, tight end, Florida. Tommy Cramer is another offensive guard who seems to move really well. I would say Watt Davis moves a little bit better, but Tommy Cramer moves very well on that offensive line. You can use him to pull. He's got good power, and he's also a very, very good pass protector. He's a very good pass protector, and there's teams that is going to like that. But as you've seen in the 2020 NFL Draft, these interior offensive linemen seem to fall quite a bit. So we're going to see how good they actually are coming into the 2020 season. See how good these rookies could do, how quickly they can bust into the starting lineup. How quickly they can bust into the starting lineup, and see if they should have been drafted higher than what they were. I feel like they should be, but I'm kind of an old school football minded. I feel like you really need to build up that offensive line, and you win the games in the trenches. After quarterback, you really want to invest in your offensive line and your defensive front seven. Continuing with offensive line, Deonte Brown is a very, very large offensive guard, and there's some risk to that because of his size. He's a guy that you want to put in a hat scheme. You don't want him pulling. You don't want him in a zone blocking scheme. You just want him to block the man in front of him. He is actually so big that I kind of worry about his size because he looks like he has that potential to where he could just get too big if the cards fell correctly. Joe Tryon's a powerful edge rusher, really good with his hands, really good with his eyes, really good bull rush. Kyle Pitts is probably the best receiving tight end in this class. He's basically an oversized wide receiver. He runs good routes. He's got solid hands. He's the main go-to guy there at Florida and Kyle Trask. 41 through 50, Quincy Roche, edge, Miami. Tamarion Terry, wide receiver, Florida State. Seth Williams, wide receiver, Auburn. Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle, Alabama. Kyle Trask, quarterback, Florida. Rakeem Boyd, running back, Arkansas. Brevin Jordan, tight end, Miami. LeBron Ray, defensive lineman, Alabama. Caden Stearns, safety, Texas. And Sage Surratt, wide receiver, out of Wake Forest. When it comes to Tamarion Terry and Seth Williams being back-to-back, those guys are very similar to me. They both have great size. They're both very athletic. They both know how to use their body as well. And it seems like for Alex Leatherwood, it seems like the more I watch him, the more I don't like his film. This guy, they have got to put him in the interior of the offensive line once he gets to the NFL. He just looks like a complete liability out there on the edge. And for me, that's why they had him playing left tackle instead of right tackle with Tua, who is a left-handed quarterback. Are they going to move him once Mac Jones starts in and he's a right-handed quarterback? Are they going to move him? Are they going to leave him where he's at? I don't know. We're going to see. He's very versatile, though. That's what I do like about him. He can play either guard or tackle position, so he's very versatile. So it'll be interesting to see if they move Alex Leatherwood around on that offensive line. Rakeem Boyd, I really like him, and I really wish I could move him higher. His offense that he is in just does not fit his play style. Rakeem Boyd is a guy who he needs to be a downhill runner. He needs to get a running start before he gets the football in his hands. And just most of his runs there at Arkansas comes from the shotgun. And the runs where he has the most success most of the time are when they're in the Wildcat, or they call it the Wild Hog there in Arkansas. Most of the time his most success comes from when he's taking a direct snap in the Wild Hog. I really would like to see him in an offense that would let him run downhill before he hits the line of scrimmage. Brevin Jordan seems to be the most well-rounded tight end in this class, besides for Pat Freiermuth. I would say Pat Freiermuth is the best blocker. Brevin Jordan probably the second best blocker. And then Pat Freiermuth and Brevin Jordan, I would give the slight edge to Pat Freiermuth in the receiving. Brevin Jordan isn't far behind, but he is very well-rounded. Not the most athletic guy in the world, but he knows how to get in there and get the job done. He runs good routes. He can find holes in the zone. He really knows how to sit down and be like a safety net for his quarterback, so I like that about Brevin Jordan. LeBron Ray is a guy who it's kind of hard to pick a position for him. I would say his best fit would be in a 3-4 defensive end. I don't think he's big enough to play that outside line, or I think he's too big to play that outside linebacker role in a 3-4. I feel like in a 4-3, if you put him in the interior, you're not really getting the best of his traits. So I feel like a 3-4 defensive end would be his best role. He really reminds me of Calais Campbell, but we're going to see him stay healthy. He's had some issues staying healthy, so that's what we're going to look for on him. Sage Surratt, very good deep threat, specialized slot receiver. That's going to translate very nicely over to the NFL. So guys, that is my top 50 big board. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe. That helps a ton. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm about to have to get off here and go to work. I actually got a new job, so the video schedules might be a little bit wonky here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try to adjust and get a routine. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. God bless, and I will catch you on the next level.